Let's do it. Sweet.
That's how the show starts. Sweet.
Sweet.
So
nice to be back.
Cinnamon episode. What are we at now, Doug? 55, something
56.
like that? 50.
Sweet 56.
Sweet 56. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but that's what we got going on here today.
Sweet 16 plus 40.
That math works. We are back yet again. Your two hosts of the Cinnamon, myself, Seed, and always the wonderful, just brimming with, radiating with knowledge, Douglas Davidson on his end. How are you doing?
Wait, today, I'm sorry. We killed that guy.
He was bogged down. He was irradiated with knowledge.
Apparently, we found out he was a fraud. We killed that guy. And we tried to replace him with some dude with information in his knee. But turns out he couldn't run very fast, so we caught up to that guy too.
And now we have the third version, the slimy. What is that movie? What is that movie? The space joint.
Event Horizon?
No.
That is
where he has to go to help out the alien race. So he plays that video game.
The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, the slimy Last Starfighter clone that's in his bed looking all weird and shit. That joint flipped me out as a kid.
Yeah, no, I agree, particularly that moment. But as an adult, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
I will use this moment, since you brought it up, to plug the Arrow video restoration of The Last Starfighter.
Boom.
When, if you didn't pick it up when it released, Arrow tends to have 50% off sales with Barnes & Noble when Criterion does. Do yourself a favor and pick it up. Just do it.
Yeah, do yourself all the favors and pick that up, man. That's
yep.
That's a movie I will likely be mentioning in the upcoming months there. Ooh.
Secret. So many secrets.
so many secrets being had right here on this show.
If I were a movie in the 90s, I would say Too Many Secrets.
Too many secrets. If I were a movie from 2016, I'd say Too Many Sorcerers.
Well, that's true. They don't wear hats. So they're not wizards.
So they're not wizards. They're sorcerers. That's right. It's been a little while since we saw each other. What ready to get right into it? What have you seen recently, good sirs?
I'm going to boil down what I have seen into things that I would either recommend you track down or absolutely avoid.
I have one of each.
Well,
let's keep this bad boy rolling.
At the time of this recording, I'm in the middle of my second consecutive of 3 film festivals.
Yes.
I'm currently right now, tonight is my last Nashville Film Festival screening. I'm watching a documentary called The Neutral Ground. And then on Thursday, I start the Night Stream Film Festival, which is a virtual version of about 4 or 5 film festivals like Overlook, Brooklyn Horror, North Bend Film Festival, and 1 or 2 others.
Right on.
So I did Fantastic Fest, which was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And as of this screening is still having its virtual at home. So if you can rent at home Salam, Baby Assassins, or The Execution, fucking do it. Like, just make time. The first one, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Salam, is a Senegal Western supernatural horror.
Okay.
It is so good. Okay, highly recommend it. Baby Assassins is an action martial arts comedy. And The Execution is a Russian crime thriller, which takes its inspiration from a real incident with a serial killer in the late 70s to early 80s. So again, it takes its inspiration from that, but it is not we're telling that story. So those are 3 films from Fantastic Fest I would absolutely recommend. Of the films that I've seen so far with Nashville Film Festival, I think these are virtual, so you could purchase an individual ticket to check them out. One of them is a film called Faye. It's a psychological thriller. It's a one-woman show. One woman. You hear the voice of maybe one other person, but it is entirely this main actress, Sarah Zanotti. But highly recommend that. Another film that's fascinating from the stance of I only knew of the band Aha from the song Take on Me. Well,
Sir,
with
you
the
knew Aha from the Living Daylights James Bond theme as well.
Well, yes, which is on the list of my favorite James Bond songs. But primarily, oh yes, oh
Shout out
yes.
to Hunter Heilman.
Yeah, I think I was the first one to vote on that.
That's how it
So
popped
if
up
you
on my
saw it
radar.
100%, that was me.
Well, it's still at 100% because I also voted for it.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is the documentary apparently premiered at Tribeca. Again, you can, I believe it's virtual screening at the Nashville Film Festival, but you get this story about Aha. I didn't realize not just that they are an incredible global phenomenon who still do 6-digit audience concerts,
Nice.
like 150, 200,000 people, that they've been releasing albums fairly regularly throughout the years, but for the most part, they can't stand each other.
Love it.
Except they won't record as Aha unless all three of them are there. Like they have such a deep love and respect for the band and for each other. They just can't get along at this point. And the documentary, it's so tragic, but the documentary covers it really, really well.
That's going to be the 200th episode of Cinnamon. Doug and Daryl only talk to each other when they come together to do the once a year episode of Cinnamon.
That would make me so sad, though.
It would be. It would be sad.
And on a strange note, just if you feel like watching something a little oddball, Window Boy would also like to have a submarine.
Interesting.
That's the name of the movie. It's by director Alex Piperno. Excuse me. It's his feature length.
Scarlet Pimpernel.
Yeah, something like that. I apologize to the director if I mispronounce that. Go look it up. Window Boy would also like to have a submarine. It sounds fascinating, and it is, just not in the way that you expect. Okay, so that's from the Nashville Film Festival. A movie I cannot recommend anyone track down, Night of the Animated Dead.
Oh, yeah.
I was curious about that, and I put in a request to review it. They sent me a review copy. I was curious what the animation would add. And other than actually cutting about 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, they added in more gore effects. That's basically all it was. So, for example, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Night of the Living Dead, they added actual animatics for the story Ben tells about getting away and getting to the house. So you actually get to see that play out. But then you also get stuff like when he gets shot at the end of the movie, it's just fires, he falls down, and then you see him get dragged away. Well, in this version, you actually see the bullet go through his head, freeze frame on his face. Like there's literally just more gore, except a lot of what works with the Night of the Living Dead, even now, it's not the gore, it's the story and the
subtext and all that good shit.
Absolutely. So it's kind of a shame. It's got a solid voice cast, although Katie Sackhoff basically she's having her name attached sells tickets, but she doesn't do anything.
That's been the career of Katie Sackhoff since 2004, my good sir.
I didn't watch Battlestar, so I have no connection there, but I did like her in The Mandalorian. I will say Dule Hill, though, fucking brings it.
I love me some Dule Hill.
He brings it. And for anybody who likes Psych, James Roday Rodriguez does voice as well, as does Jimmy Simpson. So you get a tiny bit of a Psych reunion there. And then, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the couple of the hour, the sweethearts that can survive anything. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Have you seen that yet?
I have no plans on seeing it, sir.
I don't blame you in the slightest. I was not interested in Venom, and I think it was my birthday of that year. Connor went to daycare, Crystal and I went to a movie, and I showed her Spider-Verse. And because we had watched Spider-Verse and had such a good time, we were talking over lunch, and we were like, apparently there was a thing in Venom about this movie. Let's just go get Venom, and then we'll watch it tonight after he goes to sleep. It was such a fun, dumb watch. This ups the ante. It really does. Eddie Brock is so much fun to watch in this. Michelle Williams is fun to watch in this. People that talk about she's there and doesn't do anything, she knows what she's doing. She does it fucking well. It's not a Venom or Carnage movie we want in this form of an epic, but for like a 90 minute slick, don't think about it entertainment, it fucking works. So that I would recommend.
There you go. There you go.
That's where I'm at, and you can always rewind it if you want to know any of those titles or where I found them.
Boom, done and done.
Yeah,
I got two. One I was just one I wouldn't. One, Wife of a Spy. Shout out to good old Kino Lorber for sliding that over my way. A Japanese historical drama romance television film.
That's a heck of a genre. Is that like
right?
hyphenated or common?
You walk into your local Blockbuster and ask them for the latest Japanese historical drama romance television film. And if they give you anything other than this, yeah. Oh, well, we have a whole, you got to press the button, the wall flips around, and you think it's porn. Nope, it's Japanese drama romance historical television.
Wasn't that a Simpsons joke where it's like the adult section and like Bart peeks his head back there and it's nothing but Criterion?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Dostoevsky and stuff like that. Yeah, this is a World War II film directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, no relation. About a fella in Japan owns a clothing business, or at least the material that's used to make the clothing, something like that. Owns a business of some sort. We find out that he has seen some atrocities that his fellow Japanese people have committed during this war, and he is committed to getting that information to the Americans. But he is not the focus. It is the wife of a spy. This is the titular person that we focus on, is how his wife kind of finds out what's going on and how she reacts to it, and how she is inadvertently drawn into his world when she finds out what's going on. And, you know, she starts her own plans and machinations and all that kind of good stuff. Pretty well done, man. Pretty well done joint. I think I might have gave it like 3.5 stars out of 5, something like that. 115 minutes. Great cinematography in that joint. Great acting, great direction. If you're looking for, you know, a little something on the heavier side, it's something worth checking out, man. Wife of a Spy, man. Go ahead, and it won the Silver Lion at the 77th Venice International Film Festival, which I do believe.
Roar.
If I remember correctly, that's the best direction. That's their equivalent of best director.
Okay.
And I think cool. Golden Lion is the equivalent of best film. So boom, there you go. That's something. And something to stay far away from is American Night. Oh boy, man, a supposedly neo-noir that's set in New York City's corrupt contemporary art world, and some of the shakers and the movers and the players, about a guy trying to open up his own gallery, with the shady
like
past.
Art gallery.
Yeah, art gallery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gallery could be anything, so I want to check.
Gallery could be anything. It's a guy opening up his own art gallery. It's an ensemble joint. You got a couple different stories that, you know, interweave in and out. Emil Hirsch is in there as a newly minted mob boss, I think, after his dad dies, and he has a suppressed love of art, because that's not something you typically find in something that's toxic male atmosphere of being in a crime organization. That's fucking interesting to me, but that's only unfortunately briefly touched on. That could have been much more mined and developed out of just that alone. But yeah, and just paths crossing with the crime shit, and someone has stolen his Pink Marilyn. That's what it's called. Andy Warhol did Pink Marilyn Monroe painting. He wants it back, and he's going to great lengths to get it back. And that's just part of your plot. Piven is in there as well as John Rhys Meyers as well. And for a cup of coffee, Mike Madsen as well. Nobody's acting great in this movie. It feels way longer than it actually is. There's just not a whole lot of redeeming qualities to this movie.
May I throw in a tangent?
Throw in a tangent, sir.
So the other day, I don't know if you saw this. I can't afford it as an engagement present or a wedding present, but for $450, you can buy a ceramic sword from the Green Knight, A24.
I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
And some people were talking about.
Don't think I didn't see that.
Yeah, imagine you did. So some people were talking about that online, and someone I follow, Danielle Ryan, I think she writes at Slash Film now, but she had talked about at one point around that conversation how she had, I think, a replica of a Hattori Hanzo sword from Kill Bill that was Bud's sword, had Michael Madsen sign it, and no longer has it anymore. Don't need to get into that part of it. But it occurred to me, if we had checked our tickets, if they had said before we left that Michael Madsen was going to be there, I would have had to figure out how to. Crystal has a replica sword. I would have had to figure out how to sneak that shit out of the house and get it through the airport.
Yeah,
check luggage.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there like, motherfucker, I could have got her a signed sword.
Could have got her a signed sword.
He would have done it.
Speaking of which, my buddy had his wedding over the weekend, and he got all of his groomsmen swords. And I was like, what a dope gift to give somebody.
I just did cufflinks.
You know what? I'll take cufflinks too, but fucking swords. Anyways, but yeah, American Night, don't even worry about it. It's a movie that I saw with my eyes and that I need never think about again.
Did not see with his heart, but saw with his eyes.
I don't think anybody in this movie saw anything with their hearts. But you know what? You win some, you lose some. Small budget. You know, you got to do the best you can with the small budget, but if the story isn't there, then, you know, you don't have, like I said in my review, if your story's not there, you have no foundation to build upon. And that's pretty much what you got going on here. Not a fun review to write.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, and this will pseudo serve as a nice segue, but Window Boy would also like to have a submarine is one of those movies where I was watching it. Crystal had to get up every now and then to go deal with Preston. He's teething like a crazy person and keeps waking up. But we were watching this movie waiting for the title to make sense, waiting for something to happen. And the whole time we're like, I'm pretty sure she fell asleep several times, but that doesn't take much. She doesn't sleep that much these days. But I'm watching it going, it feels like we're building to something. It feels like it. And then the ending came and I went,
yeah, it built to the end credits.
That's certainly how it must feel for you with American Night. But for me, the end of this movie made the rest of it.
Okay.
Because an ending, and I don't want to say anything, because unfortunately it's, and I hate to say this, it's like that TV show where you go, you just have to force your way through the first season. The second season's where it gets really good. And it's an unfortunate thing. There are shows like that. But with this, even if the movie doesn't grip you, when you get to the end, suddenly everything that they were working towards, to me, pays off.
All right, right on.
So it's an ending, man. An ending can make a movie.
An ending can make
set
a movie.
A tone.
It can set a tone, you would say. And today we're here to talk about some of the best endings in movies.
And certainly our favorites.
Certainly our favorites. It's kind of inspired by the recording this, man. No Time to Die comes out, ending a long, tenured franchise.
Which, as of right now, is neither of our favorite endings because we haven't fucking seen it.
I thought about it, man. If I had not taken this trip out to Texas, I would have definitely made this trip down to Atlanta. My man, I just got back into town and I spent an ungodly amount of money when I was in Texas. I need to not do that going down, but I will for Dune if that's the case. That's a possibility.
Hey, fingers crossed. We're getting closer.
Fingers crossed. I mean, I have tickets, so they need to give me something, damn it. But it's Warner Brothers, so they'll ignore my emails. Let us get on with this bit of business. Endings, man, they make or break things, I think. It can leave you, if there's a great movie with a bad ending, you can leave with that, oh man, type deal. And if it's a mediocre ending or a mediocre movie with a good ending, you can be like, holy shit, they pull it out in the end. It can. I think openings, endings, man. You got to grab them early and you got to leave them happy.
I agree. I mean, everything in the middle's got to work too to have a great movie.
Yeah.
But you can have a film, and just as some examples of what are considered some of the best endings, The Usual Suspects, say what you will about Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey, and I could say quite a bit, but the ending of that movie is phenomenal. La La Land, Inception, Carrie, Psycho, The Sixth Sense, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I saw that face. Which one had that face?
I was trying to remember what the end of Inception was.
Oh, it's the
top spinning. Yeah,
it's the top spinning and him walking off. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Which one?
The Donald
Sutherland. Okay.
Sutherland. Planet of the Apes, The Graduate, Seven, Thelma and Louise, and of course Night of the Living Dead. These are just some examples of what are considered some of the best endings in cinema.
Night of the Living Dead ain't no best thing. That's some bullshit in that.
When I say best,
also
I don't mean like, yay, it happened. Because when I saw Night of the Living Dead, which believe it or not,
yay, it happened.
When I probably saw Night of the Living Dead for the first time in maybe 2014. It was before Connor was born, and we were doing Halloween horror nights after we moved into our house. And Crystal was like, you can handle this, da 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 da. So we watched it, and I did not know how the movie ended. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yep, I guess that is the desired ending, is that are you fucking kidding me? And they achieved that desired objective.
When you get to the undertones of race and gender and class, that movie sort of right on the fucking head.
Yeah.
So you talk about how the beginning has to grab people, the middle, and the end of the movie. I can guarantee you that one of my choices, you're probably going to sit here and go, "What the? Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out!"
There's at least one every episode.
So do you want me to begin with that one, or you want to go first?
I'll go first, man.
Okay.
Not just a great ending of a movie, but a great ending of not of a franchise. It was still a great ending of an era of a franchise, man. Okay. Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country.
Okay. Wait, did you say Star Trek 60?
No.
How many of these have they made?
The Undiscovered Country. They knew this was going to be the last one, and I feel like the effort was put into it. It's one of the best stories. It's some of the best acting they've gotten. It's directed by Nicholas Meyer. Yep, Nicholas Meyer, who also did Star Trek 2, which is widely considered one of the best Star Trek movies. He came back for 6. That ending, man, we've just gone through this whole adventure. Theoretically, not theoretically, but we've been on years of adventures with this cast. They touch on things like age and getting old, and we're due to retire in 6 months, and they just kind of let the who does that score? Whoever does that score, I want to say Thomas Newman, but I'm not quite sure. Cliff Idleman. He just lets the music do all the hard lifting, and those last couple of minutes of the film, like you get them all together in that one last bridge shot, and then let's let that music swell. And this is them saying goodbye all the way through the credits with the signatures, which is of course what inspired Avengers Endgame to do that exact same thing. That shot of all of them at the on the bridge area at the end of Star Trek 6 is also the photo that Zachary Quinto's Spock is looking at the end of Star Trek Beyond, when he pulls up a photo of that Spock had, old Leonard Nimoy Spock had in his collection. It's that picture of them at the very end of Star Trek 6, because they know how hard impacting, hard hitting that ending is. And like I said, 90% of that, man, that score by Cliff Idleman is just putting in all the good work, and it gets you up in your feels like, oh, we've gone on between the TV shows and the movies, like 2 decades, 3 decades of adventures with these people. And it's just nice to see them wrap it up in such a good way.
Right on. I don't know if I have seen that one. I think after, I forget the name of it. What was 5? When they go to find God. Why does God need a spaceship?
What does God need with a spaceship? Undiscovered Country. No, that's this one. The Final Frontier. There we go. The Final Frontier.
There we go.
Whew, had to pull that one out.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's not the movie you just described. I think after that one, I stopped following them. So I don't think I've checked
after seeing Star Trek V, you would be right to, because it is not a good movie. It Star Trek 6 is, if you're a fan of Trek at all, definitely if you're a fan of Hamlet is constantly brought up in this joint. Hamlet and Klingon, Hamlet quotes by certain members of Starfleet. It is powerful. It's just passed recently. Stepped in for Kevin Spacey in that one movie, Knives Out. Man, I'm just losing it these days. I drank a lot over the birthday weekend. I'm still recovering. Chris Plummer, there we go. Chris Plummer is just chewing the scenery for days and you can tell he's having a blast.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My brain just caught up. I was like, Kevin Spacey wasn't in Knives Out. What the fuck is happening? All the money in the world.
Yeah, all the money in the world. That's right. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to follow the thought process, but my brain was going, this makes no sense.
That's pretty much how my brain works. Yeah, man. That might be your next challenge. Damn it, I'll send it to you if I have to. It's a good, fun movie. So Star Trek 6, man, The Undiscovered. And it's also an allegory for the wall coming down.
Okay.
And a little bit of a end of the Cold War as well. So yeah, boom, that's my first one.
Well, my first, I'm just going to get the shenanigans out of the way.
Smart.
And I think for anyone who has seen this movie, more likely they are going to go, what the hell is this doing on a list of favorite endings?
Okay.
And I would have no issue with this. When we put together this topic, my first, easy. My second, little harder. This one, it came to me literally in the middle of the night because it popped into my brain while I was walking back to my bed in the dark, and then I did not go back to sleep for a while. I'm talking about a movie from 2020, directed by, believe it or not, Dave Franco, The Rental. Have you seen this?
Oh, no. It was on my list of try to watch this by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't get around to it.
So the movie itself is fine. It's got a good cast. Dan Stevens, Alison Brie, Sheila Vann, Jeremy Allen White. It's a fine movie. Two couples go to a rental that they get, and it turns out that some infidelity comes up. Yeah. They discover that the infidelity has been recorded. Hilarity ensues. Okay. And they're slaughtered one by one.
I like it.
Okay. Now, this is more or less the premise that if you watch the trailer, you would know everything from it. Mm-hmm. So it probably goes without saying. We should have said it, but the name of the episode is Favorite Movie Endings. So there was your spoiler warning. The end of this movie, the killer has nothing to do with these people. You're watching them and their disintegration of their relationship when the killings start. So you're made to believe that the killer is someone among them.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not even the person running the Airbnb. They're one of the first people to die. What we find out at the end of this movie is that there's someone like a mechanic or construction person who, I forget if that's their deal or if they tour an Airbnb, make a copy of the key, and then don't rent it or something like that. But that's what this person does. They get keys, they go into these places, they set stuff up, and then they wait for them to be vulnerable.
So this is a couple with a crumbling relationship who also happen to be just wrong place, wrong time. Well, you hate to see it.
You hate to see it. Now, I mean, in terms of your horror movie, the fact that there's infidelity, like drug use, infidelity, drinking, you've sort of hit those. That's what happens in horror films. You want Michael Myers to come get you. Don't watch the kid have sex instead, right?
Yeah.
So, it hits those boxes. But what was terrifying to me is after all of this, and you sort of figure out that it's this other person, they don't show you who they are. You never see their face, but they show you their meticulous process of going into these different Airbnbs and rental properties, placing things so that they can pick a person to go after. And then you get this montage of people going on vacation, coming in, getting comfortable, getting ready for bed, doing this, doing that. And the end of the movie is someone in bed, and it's dark except for I think like a light in a bathroom or something, when all of a sudden a shadow comes like out of a closet with a knife, cut to black.
Oh,
like I was sitting here literally in front of my computer. It wasn't working with any of my other setups. I was watching it and I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay. And well, yeah, that's a little, oh, fuck me. Like it unsettled the shit out of me. And so, of course, I'm watching this at home, haven't traveled anywhere, rented anything since this, but now I'm not sure I want to go rent any places. I was so grateful that the Airbnb you and I stayed at, had locks on our side, so that couldn't do that. But it was like 3:30 in the morning. I'm walking back from the bathroom. I didn't have a long walk. I went through a door, bathroom, out through the door, and I'm walking back. And I saw something, which I'll get back to later. Saw someone went, well, that's weird. And I looked back and I was like, fuck that movie. And then I laid in bed with my legs curled up, staring at the door and like trying to go to sleep, but like my body kept. So that's why it's one of my favorite movie endings, because even if the movie didn't do anything for me, that ending was so fucking creepy that it's going to have me rethink any place I go rent.
That means it was effective. All right, then that's not shenanigans or nonsense at all, good sir.
Well, I had some feeling because it's the rental, and for those that have seen it, it's not a great film. There are certainly people that can't appreciate it, but it's not going to be just because it's coming up. Halloween, I don't think it's going to be that kind of, or VHS, that sort of series of things.
Yeah,
they might want it to be, and if they do, good for them. But man, that ending fucked me up.
Right on. Excellent. My second pick. My second pick, a little joint from 2009 you might have heard of, called Inglourious Bastards.
I'm familiar. It's a small indie film, right?
Small indie film. Not a whole lot of people. Some Christoph Waltz guy. Yeah. Listen, looking right into the camera.
That dude has a future, by the way. I don't know if we're ever going to hear from him again, but that man has a future.
He has a future. What he doesn't have is a good agent. All that talent, and boy, he's been in some shit movies.
Yeah, but he's having a good time.
You know what? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's just there for the good time. He's like, listen, I'm paid off bastards. I just gotta coast from here.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, listen, looking into the camera saying, I think this might be my best work yet. Obviously is Tarantino's commentary on the fact that he really loves his product that he made with Inglourious Bastards, and all the wildness comes in there, scalping Nazis and all that kind of stuff. And they get that out of the way pretty early, and enough wild shit happens that you even forget that was a thing. So then when it comes back up at the very end, you're like, oh, this motherfucker is, as soon as he found out dude was defecting, he started making his plans. And I'm sure BJ Novak was included in the plans as well there. But yeah, just seeing that, it was such a satisfying ending. Like every once in a while, I'm okay if the bad guy gets away with it, man. I'm like, okay, one for the bad guys, man. And this one, he's so close to getting away with it. You're like, oh, he's gonna manage to. Nope, Brad Pitt's still one step ahead of him the whole time. And it's just such a satisfying ending to one of modern cinema's best villains, I would say. Good old Hans Landa there. So yeah, it's just everything about it. Just the recall back to the earlier scenes of them doing this, and all that good stuff. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful. It's a great note to end on.
It's a film I haven't revisited in some time. It didn't resonate with me. I have it for some. Okay, my mom bought a Blu-ray copy for my brothers and I when it came out on home video.
Because your mom knows what the deal is, man. It's a dope movie.
This is a movie about killing Hitler. They'll want it. Damn.
I go back and I rewatch all Tarantino filmography before another Tarantino movie drops. So I think I watched it like the week Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out.
Will this does this film warrant a 4K upgrade for you? Because apparently I think it either has or is about to come out on 4K.
Yes, because that movie is also low-key really well shot. Like there's enough going on with like the plot and always that always wonderful Tarantino dialogue that you get, that like cinematography in Tarantino movies just kind of takes a back seat for me, with the exception of Hateful Eight and Inglourious Basterds. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's got some okay cinematography, but it seems like he's more not that he's more interested, not that cinematography is like lower in his list of interests, but he is definitely about that plot and that dialogue and that pacing. I think those are his three biggest concerns. And cinematography kind of takes a back seat. And Inglourious Basterds has some great cinematography. So you want to throw in some 4K, I wouldn't be mad at anybody to scoop this up in 4 of the Ks. Yeah, go ahead and scoop up that. I might. Yeah, I got to do a little bit of research on that. Sure, let me write myself a little reminder.
Hey, you didn't go to Atlanta. Think of all the money you saved by not going to Atlanta.
Yeah, right. Until I go to Atlanta for Dune. 4K. Boom. There we go. Yeah, what's your number 2, sir?
This is actually kind of funny. I realized it after, like, you're talking about yours. It's just funny. So mine is a film from 1995. It's one of, if I had to pick a list of movies that if you wanted to know my sense of humor, this would be on it. Okay. It's a movie with 4 directors: Allison Anders, Alexandra Rockwell, Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino.
The 4 Rooms?
4 Rooms with Tim Roth, the bellboy.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. Anytime Crystal and I are like one of us is going to do something, the other might say, don't misbehave. Like there's language in that we have picked up, and I've known this movie far longer, obviously, than I've known her. But in terms of endings, and this does have technically 4 endings, but only one film ending, and it is so fucking good, and it just so happens to be the Quentin Tarantino
joint. Yeah.
So for those of you that are unfamiliar with 4 Rooms, it is New Year's Eve at a hotel. It's Ted the Bellhop's first night, and all the unusual fuckers are coming around to celebrate the holiday.
Yep.
Again, it's 4 vignettes, each directed by a different director, and each one has a different story to tell. One is about a couple that is into, we'll say, violent role play.
Yeah.
There's a couple that is going out for the night and needs a babysitter. There's a group of people that are trying to bring back a woman who was murdered, and they need semen. So there you go. And then there's the sequence at the end of the movie, which involves a movie star, a manager, a bunch of other things, and a modern version of a Twilight Zone episode, I believe. And so they need Ted to okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to tell this story because all I can hear is Tarantino going, oh really? Anyway, so the way that the scene works is they want to reenact this scene from the TV show where a guy is going from town to town. He's like, I'll give you my car if you can light your lighter 10 times in a row. But if you can't do it, you have to give me your pinky. And these guys are fucking drunk, but they're not dumb. We've got a plan. We've got this. We've got that. We know what we're doing. We just need someone who isn't involved, who isn't emotionally connected, to be the hatchet man. And the whole time that Tarantino is telling the story, he's putting $100 bills down on the table, one after the other. Because for 1 minute's worth of work, Here's how much money you can make. So what happens? The guy goes to flick the lighter. It fails. Ted brings that hatchet down, snags the money, goes walking right out. Meanwhile, the credits start coming up because the dude's screaming. So the camera holds on Ted leaving this suite, going in the elevator and leaving. Meanwhile, everyone's running in and out of the camera. You see the finger that was supposed to be in the ice go flying. As the ice goes flying, people are running back and forth. Get the finger, do this, do that. It is fucking hilarious. And that is how the movie ends. And after a night that is just a film, which is just a series of one crazy event after another, it is the pitch perfect ending for that film. And by the way, Jennifer Beals is in this movie in 2 scenes. She's also in the one that I just mentioned. And so when Lie to Me came out and Tim Roth and Jennifer Beals got to work together again, I was fucking giddy as hell. So if you haven't seen 4 Rooms, highly recommend it. That's my number 2.
Boom. There you go. Very nice. Very nice. This has been quite some time since I watched that joint.
So good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
If it weren't for Miramax, I would be screaming for a Blu-ray release or a 4K release, but I'll just have to live with my DVD because fuck Miramax.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's
Weinstein.
Yeah. My number one, man. I mean, the best ending, I still think, as far as movies are concerned, is right off.
Well, we are talking movies, so
yeah,
that's
as far as
good.
Movies are concerned, the best type of ending, as far as movies are concerned, for me is the riding off into the sunset. And there's only one, man, when you think of riding off into the sunset.
Shane?
No.
Shane! Oh, I was going to be so mad if I was right.
No, I have not seen Shane. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, literally riding off into the sunset, man. Again, culmination of what we thought at the time was that's the end of the franchise right there. We get to see one last great adventure with Indy. Some place it at number 1, some at number 2. That's debatable. Neither one of those is wrong. A great adventure has just occurred. We are on the come down, man. We still get another couple of 1-2 jokes in there. We found out the dog's name is in there. You know, you get the illumination line from Sean Connery, which is great. And you just get this nice little playful banter with the 4 of them, Indy, Dad, Marcus Brody, and Sala there. Just a little playful banter to wind it all down. And then Brody's ridiculous ass, I know the way, and then rides off, almost falling off of his horse, got lost in his own museum. That's right. And then they chase after him. Now, never mind you that right before this, it was damn near 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but somehow it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon as they ride off into the sunset.
When you've been drinking from the Holy Grail, time is irrelevant.
Time is a different story there. Doug says as he drinks from the Holy Grail.
This is not a Carpenter's Cup.
Oh, okay. Hey,
definitely not. Oh God, I chose poorly. No, that's just my normal face.
Oh, okay.
Just my normal face.
Yeah, and then just that giant fucking sun as they're silhouetted against it is one of the great shots in Hollywood. That combined with that rousing Indiana Jones score from John Williams, man, it all combines to give you, I think, is one of the, if not the best endings in film history.
That is a good pull. Nice.
Yeah.
Mine is not so resonant, my final choice, but it works for me. But Last Crusade, I rewatched that. I think it was this year. I'm pretty sure it was this year.
I watched it in April. My son had never seen him, so I drove to Maryland.
You can watch movies at home, right? You don't have to keep driving to different states.
Oh, that's how that works.
Dune will be here. I'm sure you could have watched, but you want to watch it with your son.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's why you went to. Okay,
I've watched it with my son. That's weird. I'm going out to Arrakis to watch Dune. I don't know. I'm going to the planet. Make this a travel log. It gets everywhere. Yeah, good movie, man.
Yeah, and revisiting it absolutely holds up. Rewatching it as an adult is very different, particularly as I did watching them literally back to back. I watched all 4 in one day, and
that's what I did. We watched 1, 2, and 3, and he's like, "That's it," and I was like, "Yep, that's it."
Gonna be so confused when he finds out about 4, because 5 is coming out.
I did the same thing with my daughter, man. We watched Star Wars Empire and Jedi, and she's like, "Are there any more of these?" And I was like, "No, honey, there's not."
Apparently, I'm going to be a
before
cruel
Force
father.
Awakens. Listen, man, I'm just shielding them. That's all I'm doing. Shielding them from disappointment. What? Yeah, because watching it now as an adult, you get that father-son feel from a different angle than you saw it as a kid. Then you got more of a son-father feel. Yeah. But yeah, good one to revisit. What is your number one, sir?
My number one, I picked this. It was the first thought that came into my head, because anytime I hear anything close to resembling the phrase, is there anything do you have anything to declare?
Don't go to fucking England.
Yes!
Whatever it is he says there.
Don't go to England.
Yeah.
2000 Snatch, Guy Ritchie. It was my introduction, I think, to Guy Ritchie. I saw this before I saw Lock, Stock. And it's because of this that I saw Lock, Stock, that I saw Mean Machine, that I saw there's been some other Jason Statham movies and Guy Ritchie films that I went backward to go find. But yeah, there's something about Dennis Farina in the way he says, "Don't go to England," and the movie ends. That is literally the fucking end of the movie. It is such a wonderful button that just encapsulates what a ridiculous adventure you have just watched.
Yeah, in a movie that's full of great quotables, that might be the best delivered line in the whole movie.
It's and Dennis, may he rest in peace. He is one of my favorite parts of Get Shorty. Just his physical reaction to certain things, like at the beginning of the movie when he gets punched in the nose, and he's just like, just the way he's moving, the way he sells it is so fucking good as a physical comedian. And I mean, he was a cop before he went to play a cop on TV. Yeah. It's a real one. But he was doing this stuff, and the way he sells it and the way that he goes through it, it's just so perfect. And yeah, the same way that I said there, if I hear anything like this phrase, this is what I think of, and you said it, that's why this popped into my head, because yes. And I have yet to pick it up on 4K. I plan to, but I got to tell you, it was a little distracting, not with Snatch, but the fact that Stephen Graham
is in Venom too.
Is in Venom as well. Yes.
I'll give that one to you.
No. But he is also in Venom Let There Be Carnage. He plays a detective that apparently has a history in the comics. They're a little heavy-handed with it in a way that I don't think they needed to, but it's a 90-minute movie. They wanted to make sure people didn't miss it. Okay, fine. But every time he came onto screen, I just wanted to look at him and go, "Do you like Dags?
You like Dags?
What? You like Dags?" But anyway, but no, Snatch. That is of if I had to pick 3 favorite endings, these were the first 3 that came to mind. There's another one that would be on certainly a longer list, but we have to wait for the challenges to discuss that. But I got to tell you, this was an excellent idea, sir. Good job.
Now, thank you. That was a good one. I came up with a good couple of them, and I was like, "Nah, these aren't good enough. What else is out there?" And that's how I got the ones that I got. And speaking of challenges, man, let's roll right into it. I gave you Halloween, the original Halloween.
You did, and man, okay. So let me just say this: I don't know if Adam Frazier is a violent man, but I'm pretty sure he was going to punch me out of instinct when I saw him at Venom and told him what I'm about to tell you. So we're watching Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a challenge, it's a movie I haven't seen. I've been meaning to watch it. I bought it on 4K last Black Friday because it was on a good sale price. I was like, fuck. It's
iconic slasher. You got it.
Yeah. Just there's certain things, cinema history. Okay, fine. I might need it to reference back one day. Sure. And I haven't had a chance to go and watch it. This was a perfect opportunity. So this movie is about 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fucking happens for the first hour. Crystal and I are sitting here going, people love this movie? It's like...
It's 90 minutes of someone looking out a window and he's behind a clothesline of sheets and he's just like, "Hey, I'm here. No, I'm not. Hey, I'm here."
And I mean, for the time, I get why that would be tense. And we're sitting there and going, now there's another Halloween and Kills is coming out. How is she traumatized? Like, this makes no sense. Enter the final 20 fucking minutes of this movie.
Wild shit.
Holy fuck, man. So the turn came as I'm talking to Fraser, and I saw him relax a little bit. So it was good. It was good. It was good. The conversation, by the way, was in reference to someone was saying how they only watched an hour of Dear Evan Hansen and they stopped watching it because they couldn't take anymore. Well, you can't. Let's put it this way. I'll laugh at the jokes people are making with Dear Evan Hansen, but unless I've seen the movie, I can't comment on if it's good or not. And if you haven't finished a movie, you don't know if it's good or not. If I'd walked away from Halloween after the first fucking hour and come to you and said, sorry, man, it's a shit movie, but the last 20 minutes, holy shit, it all makes sense. That movie comes together beautifully.
Boom.
It came together so beautifully that we had I'd gotten back in like July Halloween, the 2018 edition.
Yeah.
So we watched this on a Friday night. We watched Halloween Kills the next night.
Nice. Yeah, we had to watch that for refried scenes, man. That's one that we did.
And just to be clear, in terms of a pump up the volume noise that I'm about to make, it's my hand against the crooks of my arm. But like, where's Kills? Give me Kills.
I need it.
Okay, because going from Halloween into 78 to 2018, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. I need to see this. So I'm so excited for the release coming up. So thank you for this challenge. I get where the first hour, it does play with tension. It does play with certain things. By today's standards, it is not threatening like you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the heavy-handedness with the camera work in the beginning, when when the camera's through the mask and he's stabbing his sister, and then the camera looks over to see himself stabbing the knife. Like, to a degree, I get it. Hey, I'm doing this thing. I'm dissociating. But also at the same time, the camera's got to show the knife, assholes. They don't get it. Like, I get the thought process, and I'm not picking on John Carpenter because, again, different era. And one of my favorite movies is, God damn it. Of course I say that. And, God damn it. Good old Jack would have my
Big
back.
Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. So I'm a fan of Carpenter's work. But this movie, just the tone of it for that first hour, I'm like, come on, nothing's fucking happening. This is the origin of slashers?
No, this is not the origin of slashers, my friend.
Well, not
Texas
the origin, but like this is the
Chainsaw
granddaddy master of the modern slasher.
Okay.
And this is the film all the other ones reference back to. Those last, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
It's wild business.
Yeah. So earlier I mentioned coming out of the bathroom, and I looked over and I saw a shape, and I was like, fuck you. You're not there. You're not in my house. And then my brain went to the rental, and I went, son of a bitch. So fuck you, brain. But good call. That I'm so glad that I watched it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, man. I had a Little Shop of Horrors. Is what you gave me. 1986.
Little Shop of Horrors. Bop, shoot, bop. Little Shop of... Sorry.
Directed by Yoda himself, Frank Oz. I have to, if we're following the Douglas Davidson's rules of standards and measurement, I cannot give this a rating because I did not finish this movie.
Oh, no.
No. So two reasons. I rented it through Vudu, and
wait, it's on HBO Max.
Oh, it is. What? God damn it!
I told you.
Yeah, you probably did.
Because the director's cut is on HBO Max. That's how I thought.
Oh, hells.
So rent it over Vudu.
Normally I can just I type something into my PlayStation and it'll tell me where all it's streaming, and HBO Max did not show up for some reason. Strange.
I'm gonna go look because now I want to know.
You go look.
Don't ask me what that
it was Jersey Meathead, I do believe. So it wouldn't buffer. So we got about 30, 45 in, and it just buffered every like 5 minutes.
That is.
And I was already like 90% checking out at this point anyways. Like at one point, Leslie looked up from her game she was playing. She was like, still watching it, huh? Just went back to what she was doing.
Damn, even she wasn't into it?
No. It's just not our speed. Let me put it this way. Love Rick Moranis. That Ellen Green, whatever she was doing, I found utterly ridiculous. And like, I understand this. If you want to go over the top, if you're going to have a giant growing Venus flytrap, you want to go over the top with it, especially if it's going to be a musical as well. Yeah. So I understand the over the topness of whatever it was she was doing. I've never been a Steve Martin fan. So every time I see him on screen, I'm like, oh, Steve Martin's back again. Yeah. And this is the kind of shit that Steve Martin likes, like young Steve Martin. That was his wheelhouse and whatnot, but just couldn't get into it, man. I just, it didn't grab me. The roots didn't grab me.
Well, now you'll never know why you shouldn't feed the plants.
You'll
never know, sir. You skipped Venom for a movie you didn't even finish. I am insulted. We could have said hi.
I feel like I still would have had a better time watching Little Shop of Horrors.
I have a good time with both of them.
Well, there you go. I think you come out in a better place than I did than overall on this one. Is it on Max?
I'm staring at it. I was going to share the screen and show it to you, but the host won't allow me to share. Disabled it, the bastard.
I don't know why it didn't come up. Yeah, this just. I mean, I think it's fairly known on here that I'm not the hugest fan of musicals in the first place, so I just couldn't. I have it typed in The Little Shop in my search on HBO Max, and I'm not getting anything. I know why. It's not The Little Shop. It's just Little Shop. That's why I couldn't find it. You dance and you do your thing. I'll just.
I'm playing it right now.
Talk to make sure that we don't get a DCMA. But yeah, it's wasn't my speed, but that's all right.
That's fair.
I understand the
let's put it this
appeal
way
that this movie has, and I will let them have their appeal.
I'm a little disappointed because even if I haven't enjoyed a film you've challenged me to, I've watched the whole thing. So I'm not judging you, but I'm disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm mad.
Sir, I've spent now 39 years on this earth disappointing people. So whenever someone says, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, I'm like, that's another check off the list. The line's back there, buddy.
Well, then let me tell you, since you obviously didn't see it, because we talked about this with director's cuts. I like the director's cut for this, but I prefer the theatrical. What ends up happening in the movie, the one that you were watching, is that Audrey 2 grows too powerful, grows too big, tries to eat Audrey. He has enough. They fight. He saves her. Audrey gets electrocuted, dies. Two of them move off to the suburbs, to somewhere that's green.
Whoa. Which Audrey gets electrocuted? Audrey 2 or
Audrey 2 gets electrocuted.
Okay.
Audrey 2 gets electrocuted. And all of a sudden I can't think of his name, who Rick Moranis plays. But Seymour, thank you. Suddenly Seymour, standing right beside you. Don't need no makeup. Here, I'll just reenact it for you. We'll do an extended episode.
That's kind of what's happening.
Anyway, so the two of them, they end up, Seymour and Audrey, they go off.
Good.
And we see them. They've got their picket fence. They've got whatever. Camera pulls to a tiny little Audrey 2 that's like, ha, 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 ha. End of movie. Okay. The play version, which is where the director's cut gets his ending, is Audrey dies. Seymour goes to commit suicide, decides he's going to go try and take out Audrey 2. He dies. Audrey gets huge and fucking Godzilla's the city.
See, I think the play I want to check out.
Almost all the same songs except for at the end where they have the song Don't Feed the Plants. So Audrey 2 is now like giant, huge, taking out the city to the point where I think at some point it shows us a movie theater or something to that effect, and Audrey 2's face comes flying through it like you're watching the movie. So if you were in a theater, wah, wah, it's strangely unsettling. It's strangely unsettling. So I dig the director's cut ending for being creepy as fuck, but I do enjoy the theatrical. If I were to show this to Connor by the time he's 10 or 12, because he doesn't do well with things that spook him, I would show him that version, not the other one. But whenever he has a problem eating, whenever Preston has a problem eating, we sing Grow For Me, which if you got that far.
I did.
There we go. So, oh, did you get to hear the dentist song?
Yes, I got right to where Audrey is convincing him to take out Steve Martin.
Oh, feed me.
Yeah.
Does it have to be human? Feed me.
Yeah.
Does it have to be mine? Feed me. Feed me. See. Sorry.
And that's the song that I know. And I was like, all right, I got that far. And that's when the buffering was really starting to get bad. So I was
if HBO Max has got its buffering under control, if you want to, finish it.
I think I was right at like the 45-ish. So I was right at halfway.
Yeah, probably. If you were at 45, you were definitely at half. But I'm sorry, I wasn't on purpose trying to give you a movie that you wouldn't like. But now I suddenly want to give you Man of La Mancha just for spite. That's another musical.
Okay.
The impossible dream.
Yeah. What did Terry Gilliam name his damn Don Quixote movie that he finally?
The Man Who Killed.
The Man Who Killed. Okay, Man of La Mancha, I think, is the name of the documentary as well that they had on Gilliam trying to get the movie made. That's what I was trying to figure out. Yeah.
I have not seen that, but Man of La Mancha is the name of the play that the book inspired, and then of course the movie.
Right on.
I'm not a big musical person.
You sure about
that?
But
I was raised on these. My mom is a musical person, so I've seen them at least once and grew up listening to the soundtracks.
Yeah, that was not played in our house too much. The musicals there.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, you got anything before we wrap this bad boy up?
No lyrics from any other song from Little Shop is popping into my head, so no, I don't think I have anything else to add.
I think that's it, man. We did a solid 60-ish minutes for this episode, man. Boom, in and out, man. In and out. That is it for episode 56 of the Cinema.
I like how you said that with a bit of a question mark. Which one are we on?
That was 90% confidence there. We'll be back at some undisclosed time and location for another episode. Until then, you all take it easy. And
hey, real quick, before I forget, do you have any idea about when this episode will drop?
This week?
This week? Next week?
This week?
This week? Okay. If it drops before the 7th, at Elements of Madness, we're doing a digital code giveaway, a free guy. And at Elements of Madness, until the 10th, we're doing a physical giveaway of Space Jam: A New Legacy if you want a Blu-ray.
Well, there you go. Go check all those out at elementsofmadness.com.
Giving away movies.
Giving
away them both.
That's it for us. And we will see you here in a couple weeks' time, probably, if we stick to our schedule. Until then, you all take it easy, and we'll see you later on.
Sing along when you can.